And welcome to the Sunday Funday Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your host, Guy, and I got Dylan here with me as my co-host today.
Surprise co-host. Let's go.
Kyle couldn't make it today. We did try to do a recording, but unfortunately he just did not have enough time. And talking about time, today is going to run a little bit longer than I normally want these podcasts to go. We're normally thinking about doing these podcasts for around 30 minutes, but we're mainly focusing on the draft today. This is the first podcast. We want to focus on the draft and how we feel about everybody's team,
And it figures it goes long because I'm on it. All my podcasts would go 7 hours.
Oh man, I still listen to it even though they were a bit long. But this is gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time, Dylan.
Yeah. And I'm excited that I'm not the host this time, simply because, and this is kind of nitpicky, but I put out the charts. Now, granted, they're not my decisions of like who's first, who's second, but I like to put them out. I know the algorithms behind it, and I like to hear other people talk about it. So I'm excited to not be producing the charts and then coming on the podcast and being like, this is why I did it and this is why this happened. I want to hear people that are on the outside of the chart and be like, this chart sucks.
Yeah, it's not going to be a one-man show this season, so.
Yes, thank God.
I'm sure it is. So, let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. So, what I was thinking about, we'll start with the very first pick. We'll talk about that team, the Stumptavious.
You know what's funny is that Stumptavious pick with Antonio Brown. Everybody shit on him for it, rightly so.
You
but
think
now
so?
It's looking a lot smarter.
You could have dodged the bullet there with picking Bell there on the first pick.
I think Alex might be friends with Le'Veon Bell's agent or something.
Yeah, he had the inside scoops.
Yeah, he had to have known. Because how do you pick a wide receiver in the first round with the first pick on a team with a dominant running back? I don't know. There's just so many red flags that pop up with it, but it makes sense now.
No, and you know what? Maybe he did think about the possible suspension, and you can't really blame him for going Antonio Brown. I mean, the guy has been the most consistent wide receiver in football for the longest time.
For sure.
He's always like a number one or number two wide receiver every single season. So you can't go wrong with that pick. That pick is perfect. Now his second pick, I'm not too happy about that one.
One last thing about the Antonio Brown pick. If he truly was thinking about this whole Le'Veon Bell holdout situation, and he didn't mention it once at the draft, this motherfucker is playing 4D chess. And we're playing Connect 4.
I think if I was in a situation and I was thinking that route, I would have had to rub it in the guy's face after he picked Le'Veon Bell with the second pick.
Yes, after he picked Le'Veon Bell.
So yeah, I'm not gonna call him a genius anymore. You know what? There's no way. There's no way he kept his mouth shut.
Oh, God, he needs to claim it, though. I don't even care. Just say he knew.
Just do it, man. Just say it.
But yeah, Devontae Freeman with that second pick. Now, I'm a Florida State guy. I'm literally wearing a Florida State shirt right now, even though we got demolished today. But he's out for 2 to 3 weeks now. So, this pick's losing value as the weeks go on, because he's hurt now.
And it's not even about him being hurt. I just don't believe in Atlanta's offense. Ever since the main man left, it's just not been the same. They don't know how to use Julio Jones. They don't really know how to run the ball very well. Tevin Coleman's taking more and more snaps.
Yeah.
I just feel hot
I'm
about
up 2017's running backs. I just want to see, where did he finish last year? And I know the Falcons had a good year last year, but I don't know. He finished not even in the top 10. That's crazy.
Devontae Freeman. Yeah, I have him all the way on the bottom here, number 15.
I'm looking through. No, he played every game except for weeks.
Yeah, week 5 was 11 and 12 is when he was out. Well, even if you go and look at his actual per game average, right?
Yeah. He had weeks he dropped 0 on 1 week, but that was the game he got hurt.
Yeah, even on the per game average here I'm looking at, he's not looking too hot.
No.
Yeah, and like I said, I even though he wasn't that hot last year, I wasn't expecting him to be that hot coming into this season either. So
yeah,
But I think it did follow back up with Jordan Howard in third. I think that's a great steal. Everybody went wide receivers in the third round when it came back to him and allowed him to get Jordan Howard. So,
He had the first pick in the third round, so it essentially was that like second,
oh
third
right, I
round.
forgot about that. I am a doofus. You're right. You did go back to back, but Jordan Howard is still a great pick.
Yeah, I mean he's a beast. Absolutely, I agree. So I mean, great pick one, pick two, good pick three. So far, I'll take the draft. Not bad.
Yeah. And then this is when it starts going downhill. If you pick a tight end in the fourth round, you know how I feel. I think tight ends are basically worthless. If you don't have Rob Gronkowski, just forget about it.
Yeah.
So he goes fourth round on the Greg Olson, and who's now hurt. So, ouch.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to pick him, especially knowing that he was basically retired a couple weeks ago. And then this happens. So,
You know, no,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires tomorrow because he's hurt.
I'm not going to dump on him too much. I honestly believe that Greg Olson was going to be really good this season.
Yeah.
Just sucks that he got hurt. I mean, I really wanted to draft Greg Olson at some point in the draft. You know, but I didn't think he would go in the fourth round, but he did. So that sucks.
I'm looking at tight end scoring from week one. Jared Cook would be the 8th best wide receiver.
Yeah, he wasn't even drafted in our league.
Nope. And then Rob Gronkowski would be the 12th wide receiver.
Yep.
And then Will Disley, the third. Will Disley, okay. The 19th wide receiver.
Yeah, yeah. Tight
You
end's
can
a joke.
technically take 18 wide receivers before you take a decent tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we'll go ahead and then he followed up with a very, very bold strategy. Let's call it bold.
I mean, taking up a backup quarterback before you even take your second wide receiver, I'll never understand.
No, especially when you pick Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the whole point of picking Aaron Rodgers is so you don't have to worry about a quarterback. You just put in Aaron Rodgers and that's it.
Maybe he's playing that 4D chess I was talking about, and he knew Aaron Rodgers was going to get hurt.
Maybe he's a doofus.
I got your back out.
Oh, man. And then he followed up with Alshon Jeffrey and Sammy Watkins after that. He's finally got his
So-
3 wide receivers.
6, 7, 8. So in the first 8 rounds of his draft, 3 of those guys get hurt.
I think
Four.
Jeffrey was already
Half of
hurt,
his-
wasn't he?
Was he hurt already?
I think he was.
Okay. This is where Kyle would be a great guess because he's a Eagles fan.
Yeah.
But, so Freeman, Olsen, Rogers, Jeffrey. 4 of his top 8 picks are hurt.
That's rough, man. Good luck to you. Thank you for your money.
That's so rough, man. Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. And you know what? Even Sammy Watkins, let's just consider him hurt. I don't believe in this guy. I don't think he's going to be that good.
You have a vendetta against these Chiefs wide receivers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not true. I don't have a vendetta against the Chiefs wide receivers. I have a vendetta against the Chiefs wide receivers that aren't Tyreek Hill. I honestly believe Tyreek Hill is probably somewhere in between the 5th or 10th, some 5th to 10th best wide receiver in the NFL right now. I just think
I really like his 11 through 15 picks, though. So I know he got hurt, and his first couple picks were a little questionable. But, man, 11 through 15 are strong for him.
Julian Edelman can save him when he comes back.
Yes.
And that's a good thing about that pick. I honestly think that Julian Edelman pick might be able to save this team when he comes
And
back.
Murray's going to snipe some touchdowns. Sanu looks to be at least reliable. And then Joku is one of my top tight end picks of the year. I love Joku. I mean, I know he's a Miami guy, but that kid's got talent. And young quarterbacks tend to rely on tight ends a lot. So
Yeah, but as of right now, they got Tyrod Taylor. But Tyrod Taylor likes to target tight end too.
I know. I like to think Baker Mayfield gets the start very soon, though. Like maybe week 7.
Yeah. All right. What's your final take on this team? What are you thinking? Just looking at the draft perspective.
Let's just say I don't think his name next year is going to be Stumptavious Roboclip.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. And if you guys aren't familiar with our rules, teams that, don't make the playoffs all get changed. So,
Yeah, I can't see him making the playoffs. this is before talking about the injuries. That team in general, it's I just
But
can't
of
see it being
course,
that
the
strong.
real talent of these guys, of these managers, of our owners in the league, really comes from waiver wire pickups, smart drops, and trades. So,
100%.
obviously, all of our rosters will change.
And
So,
talking about
yeah,
that, Dylan, last year, okay, I had 4 picks that worked out. The entire rest of my team was basically waiver wire,
yeah,
and I won the league.
yeah. I
So
mean that.
you're
So,
right on
Alex,
that.
take that.
Get some good waiver wire picks, man, and maybe you can win.
Yes.
But I doubt it.
Because I mean, you have a foundation. Brown's gonna carry you. I mean, he's gonna be a top 3 scorer in the entire league.
Hmm.
So utilize that. You have a set it and forget it player, which is always nice to have. And then, when Edelman comes back, hopefully you're not too far behind where he can be your second set it and forget it. And then you make some smart pickups. And so I don't think he's a lost cause. I think if he misses the playoffs, it's going to be by 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Again, it all comes down to his skill. If he can find some good waiver wires and Julian Edelman coming back,
Yeah.
and hopefully that Aaron Rodgers does not get too hurt.
The thing that hurts him, last kind of note from me on Alex, is I don't see a lot of trade value.
Yeah. Doesn't have really anybody that anybody would be willing to pay for.
Right. I mean, if
He could give up Aaron Rodgers if somebody believes in Aaron Rodgers.
and usually it's a team that's like one quarterback away from being a dominant team.
Yeah.
That's going to trade for a quarterback.
Yep.
And we don't know that until like week 4.
So I don't know. Yeah, but I'm with you. I don't think this is going to be a playoff team. Let's move on to our next guy, Martian Law.
The Ohioan.
Starting out with the good old Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, this is the worst pick in the draft.
Oh man, you can't. Can you really call this the worst pick in the
This
draft?
is the worst pick in the draft.
Um,
I mean, and here's the thing. It's not even his fault. It's like me picking David Johnson last year. That was, I mean, you can say that was the worst pick in the draft. Getting hurt in the 4th play of the game.
yeah, but you know what? Lev Bell did this last year, and then he came back and he was a beast. So we might be overreacting.
I also don't think he will play this year.
You don't think he's going to play at all?
Here's the thing. He loses $800,000 per game that he sits out. And he can still get his $14 million guaranteed on a franchise tag as long as he plays by week 10.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's worth that money, because here's the thing. If he doesn't play, a team next year will pay him. It doesn't matter. So I don't think he has anything to prove. So why not sit out, save your body, which is really the reason he's not playing, is to save his body, because he knows the Steelers will franchise him and run him into the ground. And so he's kind of like, I don't want to hurt myself knowing I want a long-term, big-ass contract. So I don't think he needs to play.
I think he gets traded.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the smartest thing the Steelers could do.
100%. Did they get some draft picks to keep?
Oh, you can get
on?
2 firsts. If Khalil Mack
Oh.
can get you 2 first, Le'Veon Bell can get you 2 first.
Oh, I don't think anybody's going to pay 2 firsts for Lev Bell.
Right. I think they could get it, but I don't see a team giving that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his value, but I don't see a team wanting to do that.
Okay. What about the rest of his team? He's got A.J. Green and Michael Thomas after that. 2 very solid wide receivers. They were...
I mean, luckily we're doing this podcast after Thursday where A.J. Green can walk his ass into Camden.
Canton.
Which is in Ohio, so that helps.
I mean, if it wasn't for the whole Lev Bell saga, this team would be super strong. And actually, the Lev Bell saga doesn't really hurt him that much because he got James Conner in the waiver wire. So let's just replace Lev Bell with another number 1 wide receiver or running back, and this team is looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of his running backs, but his wide receivers are really good.
Yeah, this is what really bothers me. There were so many running backs that he could have gotten afterwards. I'm not a big fan of Alex Collins.
No. I mean, he's scored pretty well, but let's see if that happens long term.
I don't think it will. And then he just completely ignored the running back position. Completely ignored
I'm looking at all the running backs that he didn't take.
So many.
So he could have had Ajayi.
2 guys on your team jump out to me. J.A.
On my
Jai
team?
J.A. Jai and Chris Thompson.
Yes. Yes. I
Absolute
thought
monsters.
those. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, and I'm talking about my team, but those two value picks look great.
Look amazing. But let's forget about it. This man
Yeah.
completely ignored his running back core, and he's going all in on wide receivers.
Yes.
But with the three wide receivers starting, it doesn't look like that bad a move.
No, and look at his 16th pick, which is one of my favorite picks in the entire draft. That Galladay pick looks great. I
Yeah.
mean, that kid gets targets. Stafford's going to throw it 50 times.
Yeah.
So,
Still don't believe in that Detroit offense though, but
no, but Galladay's going to get volume,
He
which
will
is
get
really what you
volume.
care about. And plus, if you get wide receivers on losing teams, that's almost a good thing because they throw it.
they throw it
the time.
all the time. You're right. Exact opposite of running backs. You don't want running backs on
Exactly.
losing teams. You want the wide receivers on losing teams, though.
Right. And you want running backs on winning teams, so when they have to run out the clock, they're getting carries.
Yeah, his other running backs were complete gambles. We got Rex Burkhead. Anytime you pick a Patriot running back, you're just praying. And you got Ronald Jones II. If you watch any Buccaneers preseason game, you knew that guy was trash and he wasn't getting on this field this year.
He even claimed that when he picked him, he had no idea because he wasn't living down here.
Absolutely, guys, absolute garbage. So,
I tell you what, though, that on draft day, taking those three tight ends looked dumb as hell. But now that Delaney Walker's hurt and Trey Burton could be a do-it-all tight end, and Eifert is okay, I mean, that's not terrible.
if he took two of those tight ends and just picked running back instead,
Yes.
This
I
te-
mean, I'll agree with that. Absolutely.
this team would be a completely different story. Completely
Goodwin's
different.
hurt. We'll see how extensive that injury is.
I think Martial Law might lose his name this year.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not saying it's for sure. I definitely think
Right.
it has a better team than Stumpavius, but I think he's going to be the fringe outlier.
Yeah. I mean, scoring 175 week one was really nice, though, and he's starting this week really hot. Granted, though, you got to win games, not score a lot of points.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. I think this might be the team that ends up being like Chalupa Batman was last year, which was the team was really good. Just for some reason, just couldn't pick up wins because whenever they played against somebody, they would always score more points.
Yep. Which, if you guys aren't familiar with Flea Flicker, there's a really cool thing where you click on your team, you click on schedule, and you can see luck and your luck rating. And he already is 0-1 in luck games because obviously he scored a crap ton of points.
Yep.
But he went against the team that scored the most points.
Yeah, that's so rough. I'm sorry.
Is negative
Sorry, Rob.
67 in luck on week one.
But, honestly, this team wouldn't surprise me either way. Making it into the playoffs or being just out of the playoffs.
Well, we can honestly say he's not winning the division, so he would have to get a good record.
He has to.
I mean, he's in a division with Priapism, who looks dominant, me, and you. So it's like...
Yeah, the guys in the other division, they have it easy, I think.
I mean, right now, Whoreface looks like the good division. Right
Yep. Yep.
now. Holden, step your shit up, by the way. We're
Oh.
trying to represent Whoreface over here.
Oh. No, let's just keep holding where he is.
Yeah. So I agree. He wouldn't surprise me either way, but I am going to say he misses. He's going to be the bubble boy.
Yeah.
He's number 7 because 6 teams make the playoffs. He's number 7.
I still like this team,
Which,
though.
from a season 1 champion though, got to give him props for that. He was season 1 champ.
Oh, he is, and he's a really good player too. He's a really good fantasy football player. He picks the right players and he makes the right waiver moves.
Yes,
Can't count him
and
out.
a founding father of SFL, so I will always have him in high regard.
All right, let's move on to our third team, Chalupa Batman.
Yes, who is downstairs and just brought me a drink. So
Oh, how nice. Honestly, I loved her first round and second round pick. I think that this is probably the best first and second.
yes, and you know what's funny? Fantasy pros agreed.
I mean, you can't go wrong. Todd Gurley was the best running back last year. Keenan Allen was one of the best wide receivers last year, and to get such a great value on him late in the second round, that's awesome.
And just like we said earlier, taking a great wide receiver on a losing team that throws a lot. There you go.
Yep, that's 100% true. And a very good wide receiver at that.
Yeah.
She followed up with Devontae Adams, another amazing wide receiver. You know, Aaron Rodgers ain't no bitch. He throws it
No.
outside to his wide receivers. He pushes the ball down the field, and he loves his number one wide receiver and his number two wide receiver. Everybody else doesn't really matter because he's just throwing the ball to those two guys all the time.
Right, and Adams is one of those great wide receivers for fantasy that aren't afraid to catch the slant.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get a wide receiver that likes to push the field and catch slants, you have a fantasy amazing wide receiver.
Yep. She followed up right into Zach Ertz, which again, I don't really believe in tight ends, but if you're going to pick a tight end early, Zach Ertz is your guy. Honestly, that's what I believe. He's the second best tight end this year, probably.
And I think she's had Ertz every year.
She did. Yeah.
So she's an Ertz fan.
Mm-hmm. And then
Ingram, that's where the drop off, yeah.
Well, you know, Mark Ingram is a win your league kind of player. He's going to miss a lot of games, but when he comes back, I can see him dropping over 20 points every single game after he comes back.
Oh, and he's going to have the fresh legs, so that's going to be nice.
Mm-hmm. He's going to steal those goal line carries on the Saints. He's going to get a lot of touches. He catches the ball off the backfield, too.
Yeah. You got to be really confident with your team, though, to take a running back.
Yeah, and this is what the rough part. She doesn't really have another running back to play, you know, while he's gone.
Right.
Deion Lewis, Jamal Williams, and James White. Those are all very, very risky picks. I honestly think Deion Lewis might come back and save the day. I think he's.
I mean, he scored 25 in week 1, Deion Lewis.
Yeah, he's really
on
good.
Our bench.
Yeah, he's really good. I think he's going to take the number one running back role in that team, and he's going to run with it. So, but that's a big if. You know, you got to trust the coaches.
Deion Lewis started for last week. Okay.
Well, they also have Hunter Henry.
Yeah. Well, he's hurt.
Yeah.
He's my
Or
IR
Derrick
spot.
Henry. Sorry, Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Hunter Henry's on my IR spot.
This is the tight end. So.
Yep.
No, Derrick Henry is the other running back for the Tennessee Titans, who's their main guy. But I think Deion Lewis is going to steal that job.
Okay.
And
I mean, he's definitely that third down scat back, can do it all.
Here's a great pick right here, though. When she got Deshaun Watson, a lot of people had this guy as possibly the best quarterback in the league, and she got him all the way in the 8th round. Is that the 8th round? Yep.
Yeah, that's the 8th round.
That's crazy. It's really good value.
That is a good pick.
Really good value. And her other wide receivers aren't bad either. Demaryius Thomas, consistent guy. Michael Crabtree, he could be the guy in the Ravens. I don't really believe in that offense, but again, we're going back to number one wide receiver on a crappy offense isn't always that bad.
Right. Nelson Aguilar, I mean, streaky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna call this team possibly the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like the fantasy pros and the power rankings all agreed preseason she was and is still the best team, because if we look at rest of season roster strength according to the chart, she's still number 1.
Now, I'm just gonna say I'm worried about her running backs. When Mark Ingram comes back, that might change. But as of now, I'm worried about her running back, and I think she might finish around 3rd or 4th. But it's still very, very strong team.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
as of right
4th
now,
place is the floor. 4th place is the floor for this team.
Yeah. And she's in the other division, which is the Marvin division.
Oh yeah, she'll run right over those guys.
So yeah, look for her to be a definite playoff team as the roster stands, barring injuries. And again, the chart agrees. Rest of season roster strength number 1. So
let's go ahead and go right into the breaker of chains.
Cool.
Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know how I feel about this guy. I mean,
Can I just say one thing about him?
Yeah.
He might be, and I really have no reason to think this, but he's my least favorite player in the entire league.
Wow.
Something about him rubs me the wrong way. I don't have anything to go off of other than his stupid eating a bowl of cereal maneuver. That just pisses me off.
A lot of guys do that, don't they?
He made it popular. I know a lot of people do it, and it's more of a basketball thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he just, like, when he runs over somebody over the middle of the field and then gets up and, like, eating, he could be down 100 points. He's still gonna do it.
Still gonna rub it in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the Cowboys personally. I just don't think that team is very good.
Yeah. Maybe it's also because he exposed a woman in public. Who knows?
Oh, that that would be my number one. Why I don't like that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. Go back and edit this. Make me sound better.
Sorry, man. I don't have that kind of skills. And then he went back and got Rob Gronkowski in the second round, which, like I said, I think that's a wonderful pick. I mean, when
See, out of all the people in the league, I think you would have been the one to hate that pick.
no. See, I hate tight ends because every other tight end to me is basically the same. So when you can get a guy who's not basically the same, who's going to be put up wide receiver numbers every single game, pretty much, right?
He's the Aaron Rodgers of tight ends. Like, if you don't get him, who cares?
But it's even better than that.
Okay.
It's just like he's even better than that. So if, like, in my opinion, if you're gonna pick a tight end, this is who you pick, and just hope he doesn't get hurt. Just cross your fingers.
I know. And that's the thing. Watching a ton of Patriots games, it's like watching him catch the ball. You hold your breath every single time because every defender goes for his legs.
Yeah, it's rough. Man's a beast, though.
Oh, he's dominant. He's the best of all time, if you ask me, in terms of tight ends. But, like, man, it's so frustrating. He even came out and said, I don't know if it was him or some other guy, but a wide receiver that said, I will pay your fine. Hit me high. Don't take out my legs. It was incredible.
That's rough.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on right on over Joe Mixon, sorry. You know, this is a guy that I didn't honestly like that much because sorry, Rob, I didn't really like the Bengals that much, but it's proven me wrong. And one of the reasons why is if you follow the team that spends money on the offensive line, which the Bengals did this offseason, they improve a lot. And you can see it. Joe Mixon is just having, not even just Joe Mixon, the entire Bengals offense is really clicking this year.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a great pick.
The Bengals' schedule hasn't been the hardest, though, over these past 2 weeks, but
They did play the Ravens. I think that's a pretty good team, but it was a Thursday night game.
So? No. I don't know. I will say
their
the Breaker
defense
team
is
does
good.
need to change their name, though.
Why?
Not saying that they're not going to make the playoffs, but it needs to be something about being scandalous, because I'm counting 5 players on their team that have histories of abusing women in some way, shape, or form.
You know what? I think that's something we gotta inspect Kyle's mind a little bit. Why is it?
What's going on here?
I'm surprised Jameis Winston's not on this team.
Right. I mean, he's got Elliott, he's got Mixon, he's got Roethlisberger.
Ripplesberger.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Chargers D's got somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty bad.
I mean, but he does have Larry Fitzgerald, the Pope, on the team, cleansing everyone, so that's good.
And then right after Joe Mixon, he goes and grabs Royce Freeman, which this pick really surprises me. He loves his boy Jay Ajayi. He could have had him right there, and he picked Royce Freeman instead.
Yes. Yeah. In a backfield in Denver that has 3 running backs that could have a starting job every week.
Did anybody know Philip Lindsay was actually going to be good, though?
No, that's true. That's true.
Nobody knew.
I'm going to actually, while you're talking, I'm going to look up Philip Lindsay's preseason stats.
All right.
Because I want to see if, like, we could have seen this coming.
Yeah, I don't think we could have. You know, it's just man played his heart out yesterday. You know, like last week.
Yep. And not to give anything away for tomorrow's daily fantasy, which everybody should be joining, but I have him rostered.
Oh man, I could have won that week. Had I just played James Conner. That thought never came through my head. Anyway, regardless, so Royce Freeman, and then he follows it up. Finally, he did my strategy, which is, you know, you get your 3 running backs, and then you start going for those wide receivers. Larry Fitzgerald, amazing pick, awesome value. Allen Robinson, I'm not too sure about that. Corey Davis, I'm not too sure about that. And Emmanuel Sanders. I like
questionable wide receiver core.
Questionable wide receiver score. Larry Fitzgerald can carry this team, but I'm not too happy about his other guys.
Right. I mean, and they're all streaky. You're
Oh,
not. They're
streaky.
not going to catch 10 passes every game like Fitz will.
And then there's other wide receivers, Keelan Cole and Tyler Lockett. I think Keelan Cole is probably a steal.
Tyler Lockett, now that Doug Baldwin is out, might be better, but still, that team's sorry.
And that also depends if Tyler Lockett's going to be returning a lot of punts, too.
Exactly. Which now, if I was the Seahawks, I wouldn't make him because he's your only wide receiver now.
Yeah. But if Tyler Lockett does return some points, you're looking at some points. But this is the kind of team that a good owner can make things happen. If you can pick the right wide receivers every week out of like all of these questionable guys, because you know they're going to hit and miss all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can pick the ones that hit, you're looking at an amazing season.
And I think you hit the nail on the head that this team has the potential to hit a lot of points, but you got to be right.
You got to be right.
Yeah, you can't. There's little room for error on this team when it comes to rostering the right or starting the right guys. So yeah, I think that's the fair assumption of the, or fair diagnosis of this team.
And I also think he might be in trouble if he gets any injuries on his running backs. He might be in trouble.
Yeah, he's a little thin.
He's a little thin there. But he did get Andrew Luck and Roethlisberger. You know, Roethlisberger's a great quarterback, and Andrew Luck could be the top quarterback if he comes back to form.
Yes.
But that's a big if. But that's the good thing. He got him late, and he got Roethlisberger to back him up. So his quarterback position is locked.
A great kicker and a great defense, and Breda gets uses. So, I mean, rounds 14 through 16 look pretty good.
Look pretty solid. And I think this is another playoff team.
If he plays well.
If he plays correctly.
And we have faith. Kyle's a good player.
He's very good.
And he's in the Marvin division, so he even has a chance to win that division. So that would help.
Yep. So
and he is in first now.
Let's go on here to Holden. The man started Leonard Fournette as his first pick in a PPR when he had David Johnson and Alvin Kamara on the board.
You know what's funny? I can sense that you've been waiting for this moment to talk about Holden for a long time. I'm so ready. I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, Holden, I love you, man. But come on. You had David Johnson or Alvin Kamara. You're going to pick Leonard Fournette in a point per reception league? The guy doesn't catch any passes. All he does is run. He runs the ball, and don't get me wrong, he's a very good running back. But you had David Johnson and Alvin Kamara right there. You could have taken somebody. What do you think about that?
I mean, his average draft position for Nets was not 1.05.
Nope.
So.
Nope. You know, he kind of makes up for it, though, with the Dalvin Cook in the second round.
Yeah, I'm still pissed about it.
You could have drafted him. Oh, but no, there's no way you could have drafted him with Odell Beckham sitting in your face.
Right. And you know what's funny? In the draft, I said that. I said, I want Dalvin Cook right now, but nobody took Odell, and I can't pass him up.
Why didn't you try to trade?
Trade what? Odell for Dalvin?
No. Try to take that pick from Holden. Or try to take that pick from me.
Yeah. I wasn't in the mindset to trade picks, but yeah, I could have.
I mean, if you really, really wanted the guy, you know, sometimes you got to go for it.
True. I'm looking at last year's Leonard Fournette season. He caught
see if I
a
can bring that
maximum
up.
of 4 passes in a week.
In 1 week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. He scored once on a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 20 points per game last year. You know, that's pretty good. He was the running back 8.
I mean, 25 carries, though, a game? Yeah, that'll happen.
Well, that's the good thing, too. That we can't be just looking at this as a point per reception league when we do give points for carrying the ball, which I do like. Right. So, yeah, you can't really fault the pick too much. I just think the whole point per each reception.
Right. And I think it comes down to when you have David Johnson and Kamara right behind him that get just as many carries and catch the ball a little bit more effectively and get used on third downs because you have TJ Yeldon getting third down looks in Jacksonville.
Right.
It just looks like it's not as good of a pick.
Not as good as a pick. And then he follows that up with LaShawn McCoy. Again, the 3 running back strategy. I'm personally a big fan of that. He got LaShawn McCoy with it. And this could be very good. It could be very bad.
His wide receivers are so bad, it doesn't matter.
And that's 100% on Holden. That's not like there are many wide receivers that he could have gotten here that would have been pretty good. I'm looking at my wide receivers that I'm picking right next to him. He could have had these wide receivers. Feel very strong about my wide receiving core.
He passed up Jarvis Landry and Larry Fitzgerald, and took Doug Baldwin and Alan Hearns. And then he passed up Robert Woods, Chris Hogan, Josh Gordon, Marvin Jones to take Cameron Meredith.
Oh, man.
No, I'm sorry. He took Cameron Meredith all after those picks. So he didn't take Demarius Thomas, Brandon Cooks,
Yeah.
Allen Robinson.
Yep.
Good lord. Alshon Jeffrey.
I mean,
Corey
Alan Hearns, man. Alan Hearns and Cameron Meredith. God, that's rough.
Meredith, they say, and here's where I'll give Holden some credit. There were a lot of, and I read everything. There were a lot of articles that were like, here's the steal of the draft, and Cameron Meredith's name was all over them. So he probably said, you know what, the 6th round is the time to pull the trigger on a possible sleeper. We'll see if that works out, but I think that's where his head was at, is that I'm reading all these things that are saying that these steals are Alan Hearns on his new team, Cameron Meredith in New Orleans, and I think he was really sleeper heavy. He was trying to find sleepers here.
Right. And that's the thing, too. I don't really believe in wide receivers with their first year in an offense. They never seem to work out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people say that. People get really excited when a new wide receiver comes to town, and they're like, oh, man, he's going to be really good. But it normally takes them a while to, adjust to the team.
Right.
They normally don't pan out in fantasy football. But if he does, I mean, it could be good. I just don't think the rest of this team is pretty good. He got Drew Brees and followed it up with 3 more quarterbacks. Holden, what are you doing with 4 quarterbacks on your team?
Let me also say Alan Hearns was not good last year. Now, I know he had Blake Bortles, and everybody's like, no, that he doesn't have Blake Bortles. He'll actually be good. But come on, man.
Dak Prescott, is he any better? Like, can you honestly say Dak Prescott is better than Blake Bortles?
Well, that's the thing. Everybody thinks he is because he has a star on his helmet. So it's like anybody who plays quarterback for the Cowboys automatically gets like media points. You know, automatically they're seen as better.
Yep, just because, and that's not just the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's the Giants, any big market team.
It's easy to pick on Blake Bortles. I mean, granted, because he's awful, but because he's the Jaguars, easy to pick on him.
But hey,
but he goes Drew Brees,
which is a good quarterback, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'm just looking at his draft right now. Matt Ryan was his 3rd quarterback. Let's just save that right now for later.
Sony Michel. I mean, again, Patriots. I mean, Sony Michel could end up being really good.
Yeah.
I hate Holden's wide receiver core. They're so bad.
Yeah. Taking Sony Michel and Rashard Penny are actually great considering he has Fournette, Cook, and McCoy.
Right. He has these like gambly kind of wide running backs. Yes.
I mean, I would even go as far to say he might have had the best running back draft.
Might have.
But everything else is so bad.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. But, he got Jordan Reed all the way at the bottom. If Jordan Reed balls out,
yeah,
could be something.
And Dez Bryant's still not on the team, so that hurts.
That hurts. How long until you think he drops Dez Bryant? You know what? Dez Bryant's going to be picked up on Monday when the Browns drop Josh Gordon. So.
Ooh, true. That makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go on. I mean, obviously.
What's your look on Holden?
Bad. Very bad. Worst team in the league.
You know what? I'm glad because his team needs to change names.
It can't be Holden.
Right. It's like, dude, your name. You know what's even funny? Like, I think last year when I did my articles or podcasts or whatever, I even gave him shit then for his name.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We get to force a new name on him.
Yes.
Be good.
Well, if he finishes 10th, which is what's projected right now, because he has a 22% playoff odds and has the 2nd worst roster in the league according to our chart, whoever wins the league will be choosing his name.
Nice. Which would be
Yep.
me. You got to think of a new name. So let's move on to my team, Captain McGee.
Yes.
Okay, pick me apart. Tell me why I'm not the best.
Uh, okay, so David Johnson, great pick. David Johnson's a manimal. He's a monster.
I can't believe he
Great.
dropped that far.
Yeah, he's so good. You know what's even funny? Like when I was reading charts and blogs and stuff, it's like David Johnson really never got mentioned as like a top 2
Nope.
running back, but I truly believe he is.
I mean, he was a top 2 years ago before he got
Yeah.
hurt.
Absolutely, which is why I took him with the number 1 pick last year.
Yep.
And then Christian McCaffrey, great pick because he'll catch everything.
And
he's
hopefully
a better
he'll get-
wide receiver than he is running back to me.
Hopefully he'll get some more carries too.
Yes, yes. Mike Evans, he single-handedly gave Johnny Manziel a career, so that's how good he is.
Here's the thing. Last year, I don't know. I'm grateful for Mike Evans having a crappy last year. Again, this is another player that two years ago outperformed Antonio Brown
Hmm.
in fantasy points. This man has topped 1,000 yards every single one of his NFL seasons.
Yeah.
He just last year didn't catch a lot of touchdowns, and I think that's just because the Bucs didn't have a good offense last year.
Right. And I know you blew up the group chat last week with how you think the Buccaneers have the best wide
The
receiver
best.
in the league, which is a conversation for another day because we'll spend way too long on that right now.
Yo, we're already going long. We're already at 40 minutes.
Right. So let's just say Lamar Miller is, I think, the most important player on this team.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Tell me
The
why.
reason I say that he is your swing player, I think you have great starting wide receivers, you have great starting running backs, and if he does well, that pushes your team to the next level. So, like, right now you can win games, but you can score over 200 points on Lamar Miller's performance every week.
It's true. And you know what I think is the steal of the draft?
What's that?
Round 8, Randall Cobb.
Okay.
Like I said before, everyone was crapping on Randall Cobb. They didn't think he was going to have a job this year. They thought he was going to get traded. Stayed with the Packers, and like I said before with Aaron Rodgers, he loves him as number 1 and his number 2 wide receiver. Randall
Okay.
Cobb in the 8th round. This guy could be a wide receiver 1, and I got him in the 8th round.
Right. And you know what's even crazy? I'm looking at your 11 through 13, which is showing to be amazing. Evan Ingram, who I think is just one of the most talented wide receivers, catching tight ends
Right.
in the league.
He's a wide
Danny
receiver who,
Amendola.
for some reason, plays tight end.
Exactly, because he can't block worth anything. And then Danny Amendola and Deshaun Jackson, who we all saw what Deshaun did last week.
Hmm.
And so, like, 11 through 13, Ingram, Amendola, Jackson looks incredibly strong. So your wide receivers, you have, like, too many.
Oh, but that's
So,
the
like,
way
a
I like it.
team
I get
like
to pick.
So a team like Holden needs to contact you and get one of those.
You know what the problem is, though? Holden doesn't have anything to give me.
Right. And that's what's killing Holden. Holden, not only did he gamble on wide receivers, taking the strongest running back core, I think, but he doesn't have trade value. So it's going to take some waivers to trades.
I mean, if
Like,
Holden,
maybe
if you...
even use the number 1 waiver spot as a trade chip. I had conversations last year with people who had the number 1 waiver pick, and I said, can you pick this guy up, and I'll trade you when you get him.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I think if Holden, get to me. Give me Drew Brees and Jordan Reed, and we can work something out.
And as a player that goes against you, please don't.
All right. So again, I think Peyton Barber is going to be a starting running back. I took him kind of early than most people think he did. You know, I think you with your Chris Thompson pick, that's really good. It's probably would have been a better pick than Peyton Barber, but I still think he's going to be very good. Marlon Mack, that's another risky running back because you never know what's going on with Indianapolis. But if that team
Right.
is good, Tariq Cohen, again, that's another risky pick, but I think he has a safe floor. He catches a lot of passes.
Right. He's going to be that third down back. So, and he's so sneaky, they can put him back at punt returns. So,
And then Phillip Rivers. I mean, that's why I don't really believe in taking quarterbacks. Because look, I waited all the way to the end. They got me Phillip Rivers, and he scored me 30 points last week. So
I mean, you, me, and Priapism I think we're the latest to take quarterbacks.
Yeah, because we're good at fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. Everybody else
sorry,
took a
everybody.
quarterback really early.
Sorry, everybody. I just don't believe in picking quarterbacks in fantasy football. It's unfortunately the rules of fantasy football are just not good for it.
I mean, you have one position, and they're so volatile, and they score only 4 points per touchdown.
Yep. We can change that next year, but that's a conversation for
Yeah,
another time.
it's a interesting proposition to make passing touchdowns worth the exact same to 6. That would be a big change.
I have way more than just that. I have a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
things in my mind about quarterback position, but let's. I think I possibly have the best team in the league right now.
According to the chart, you have the third best roster.
And again, I think that chart is wrong. I think I have the best. No, but seriously, I think you, myself, and
I mean, I have number
Chalupa.
4 according to the chart.
Yeah, like we're all really, really, really solid teams.
I mean, you have an 80% playoff odds. I have 87. I have the highest playoff odds right now, but the 4th rest of season roster strength. So
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about my team is I think Arizona is a really bad team. I think they're just a really, really bad team.
I know.
So if
Yeah.
if that hurts David Johnson, then I'll be
David
really
Johnson
regretting.
lines up even as a wide receiver sometimes.
That's so crazy.
So yeah,
Yeah,
he's so good.
he is amazing.
Just as a pure talent, like I don't know, he's top 4 in the entire league of talent set.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's go on to you now.
Okay.
We were talking about this before. Best first round, second round. You got Alvin Kamara, which could have gone. Honestly, could have gone Breaker. Any team, Breaker Chains, Holden especially, or myself, could have all taken Alvin Kamara there. Been a great pick. The guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you follow that up with some people think
And not
he's the
only
best
that,
wide
but I knew
receiver.
Mark Ingram was out, so Kamara's
Yep.
going to dominate for a
Gonna
while.
dominate. And then you follow it up with what some people believe is the best wide receiver in the league. I honestly don't. I think he's way overrated. Again, he plays for the Giants, and that's the only reason why. I'm not saying he's not good. He's really good. He's definitely top 10, but he's not like the best like everybody acts like he is.
NFL scouts grade hands on a scale of 1 to 9, which is an interesting scale. But
Why?
they rank-
Why 9?
Yeah. I'll have to look up the history of it, but I know that's the case. But they rank it on a scale of 1 to 9, and his hands are like an 8.4, which is like
Amazing.
it's
Unbelievable.
incredible. Because
Right.
Chris Carter had like 8.8 hands,
Right.
and he's one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game. Jerry Rice probably had 9, but like Larry Fitz has up there too. So like in terms of hands, and then you add his shiftiness, he's so good.
It's really
and they use
shifty,
him in the
route
running
running.
game now.
Did they really?
Yeah, he carried it 3 times last game.
See, the only thing that bothers me is that, don't get me wrong, his hands, his body positioning, his shiftiness, his ability to get yards after the catch, all amazing, really good. But you know that only gets you. That's not going to make you the best wide receiver in the league.
I get it.
It's not. It's just not. I think DeAndre
I
Hopkins
also
is way
think-
better. DeAndre Hopkins has all those things, but he's bigger and a better
Oh yeah.
end
I
zone
would love
target.
to see DeAndre Hopkins' hands rating because his hands are gigantic and really, really soft.
hmm I just think he needs one more thing. He needs to be either a little bit faster or a little bit bigger to be the best.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have that. But again, Alvin Kamara, Odell Beckham, really strong. You took a gamble with T.Y. Hilton there that
I
could
did.
come and bite you. But, you know, if it works, it works. It's going to be great. And then Adam Thielen, again, another. That's 3 amazing starting wide receivers right there.
Yeah, if the Hilton works out, that's debatably the top best wide receiver core.
I would have really liked you to have gotten a running back there at the T.Y. Hilton spot
Uh-huh.
instead of T.Y. Hilton. I mean, who would you have? You could have taken Lamar Miller there, or Jay. I mean, you waited for J.J. That's insane. And you still got him there, which is great. This is why your team is going to end up being really good. Okay, you took a giant gamble with J.J. and Chris Thompson, and so far they look amazing.
Right. And in terms of value, I can't find 2 better picks in terms of value right now.
Right now,
Early
no.
in the season, but right now.
I mean, I think my Randall Cobb pick might be, but the Jay Ajayi and Chris Thompson, that will honestly maybe even win you the league.
Yeah. I mean, and I love the Vikings D. That's a set and forget it. Justin Tucker down there. My late picks, if Mahomes can go off and carry my team too, my team's solid.
Yeah, I don't personally believe in Patrick Mahomes as an NFL prospect, but as a fantasy football prospect, it's kind of interesting. I hate this about fantasy football where you get more points for running the football than passing the football as a quarterback. It's stupid.
I mean, I could honestly see him having the best arm in the league, though. In terms of strength.
And strength.
Not in terms of, like, making the throws, but he can sling that thing.
Oh, yeah, but you got to be accurate with it.
Yeah. But luckily, you just throw it as far as you can, and you got...
the fastest guy in the league just try to catch it.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Or like last week where he just dumps the ball off in a really short pass to Tyreek Hill and watch him take it for 60 yards.
That's the thing. Sometimes you take quarterbacks based on who they got around them, but just because they're going to carry their points.
Listen, this is what I'm worried about for the Kansas City offense. If people just shut down Tyreek Hill, if they get a big cornerback to bully him at the line and then a fast safety to watch him over the top and just shut him down, I don't think they can do anything. I honestly don't think they'll be able to do anything.
Then you put a lot of stress on, Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins.
Right, but then you're trying to get the other team to beat you with a tight end and a running back, and then you're not going to pass it to Travis Kelce every single time.
I think you just described every team in the league. If you take out the wide receiver, they rely on their tight end and run.
No, but other teams have other wide receivers. Like I said, I don't believe in Sammy Watkins.
I got you. You don't. I mean, that's one of the conversations we'll probably have, and you'll have on this podcast every week. Is we need to have a segment called the Chiefs Update.
How does Guy feel about the Chiefs?
No, this is a hot take. Like, this is a piping hot take, and I'm pretty sure the entire league really cares about how you are either being proven correct or you're proven wrong. But I'm excited to see this because I think you need to have a Chiefs update every podcast.
I think they're garbage.
And we have a gigantic Chiefs fan in the league too, which is great.
Yeah. But your team is solid, man. I think definitely could probably maybe even fighting for a title.
I mean, according to the power rankings, I'm number 2, 87 playoff odds, number 4 rest of season strength, and I scored over 200 points. So let's see if the injury bug stays away, and I'll be happy.
And again, this is if Jay Ajayi and Chris Thompson didn't have fluke weeks. If they keep on being beasts, that's the only.
And I'm happy because after week 1, Jay Ajayi didn't get a lot of touches, which is crazy. He scored twice, but he didn't get a lot of touches. And immediately after, Doug Peterson said he's going to be our workhorse. They used week 1 to see if his knees could hold up.
Yep, and that's again. I think Jay Ajayi could be the steal of the draft, picking up possibly a running back 1.
And I'm still looking to add a Dalvin Cook.
Trade some of those wide receivers to Holden. He needs some.
I've tried. He doesn't want them.
Oh, okay. Let's.
I offered T.Y. Hilton and another pick, and he doesn't want it.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe he's right. I think that's a good trade. T.Y. Hilton, who's my second wide receiver, and another player for one, Dalvin Cook. I don't know. Maybe.
T.Y. Hilton, Chris Thompson. I can see that being fair.
Oh, you hurt me there. What about T.Y. Hilton and anyone else?
No, it's got to be Chris Thompson, man.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll think about it. All right, go
on. And then we go on to Joe Buck yourself.
Yes.
Started with DeAndre Hopkins, second wide receiver off the board, and again, I think this guy could be the real best wide receiver in the NFL.
And I'm looking at the running backs that were taken behind him, and I think this was a good pick in terms of where he was sitting.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely a good pick. And then what hurt him is he grabbed Jerick McKinnon, which again was already a reach in the first place. This
is what I call the hype pick of the draft.
100%.
Yeah.
And we can't even truly judge it because he got injured.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like even if he went off, this is still a reach, and it's a hype-driven pick.
Yep.
Like there was no reason for us to think he was going to dominate, in San Francisco.
Yep. Well, Shanahan, awesome.
Yeah, again, hype. All hype.
All hype. And I kind of believe it, but Again, second round is pushing it. I mean, you had Dalvin Cook and McCaffrey there.
Yeah.
Nah.
And a proven, way more proven Devontae Freeman, Jordan Howard, Joe Mixon.
Yep. I would have taken all those guys instead of Jerick McKinnon.
Right.
Taken all of them.
Yeah, without injury.
Yep. Could have even gone 2 wide receiver, gone DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham.
Ooh,
And then think about that one. Think about that one. And then he could have gambled it up with, some gambly running back picks late, but had 2 beast wide receivers just carrying his team.
You just said the nastiest thing to me. DeAndre and Odell, and if, let's say one of them, they're both going to go off, then that's the biggest trade chip in the league. Because you already have a wide receiver 1.
Yep.
You can get, 3 players for the other one.
Yep.
Ugh. Dean, bro.
You
had
goofed.
it right there.
You goofed, sir. You goofed. So
then you strangle the entire league from 2 of the top 4 wide receivers.
Yep.
And they're good.
Yep.
And you have tons of room for other players. Oh my god. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So Dean, unfortunately, got hurt. Then he's followed it up with Stefan Diggs, really good wide receiver. Gonna get some points. Then he gets Kenyon Drake. I wasn't too sure about this pick when he did it, but it's starting to look like it was probably going to be good. I honestly think Kenyon Drake's probably going to do something in Miami. They got to move the ball somehow.
Yeah.
And Kenyon Drake, I think, has got one of the better jump cuts in the league. Super shifty.
Oh yeah.
And then he goes and does the super reach for a quarterback thing with Tom Brady.
Yep. 40-year-old Tom Brady.
Yep. Why, Dean? Why?
Brady, Hogan, Crowder.
Could he
probably the most questionable 5, 6, 7. In my, I don't know. A lot of people have Hogan high on their picks though, on their rankings.
Yeah, I don't believe in Hogan. Jamison Crowder, I can see that. Yeah.
They call him 7-Eleven, Chris Hogan.
Because he's always open?
Because he's always open.
See, this is another one of those things. I personally don't believe the Patriots have a good wide receiver core. They just play with the best quarterback in the league and the best coach, like one of the best coaches in the league. It's just.
I mean, the Patriots have proven you do not need star wide receivers or running backs as long as you have a system and an O-line that can give it to you.
Yep, you got the coach, quarterback, O-line. Everything else will work out.
Yep, and a D that's just good enough to hold them below 20 points.
Yep. And, Cooper Kupp.
Crowder, Johnson, Kupp I like.
Carry on Johnson. This is a pick that is probably not going to be really strong, but I think later in the season, you never know. I think he's really talented. Is he actually going to really work out? Who knows? This is one of those gambly picks. Again, like I said, had he gone DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, and then just gone like Kenyon Drake and Jay Ajayi, we would have been looking at, wow, this team could be really good.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre, Odell, Drake, Ajayi is a strong 4.
Yep. And let's see what else we got on this team. Going
he went with Adrian Peterson.
He went with Adrian Peterson.
To acknowledge.
Yeah, that late pick, he was super excited about getting it, and it could be really good. It could be really good.
What's funny is before everybody showed up, we actually talked about this. We were both wondering where Peterson would go in our draft because it was one of those exciting, like, ooh, he's back, he's fresh, he could be good, he's the number 1, it's exciting.
And here's what kills me, okay? So we look all the way at the bottom of his draft, and he got Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Look at Tom Brady, look at Carson Wentz, I think they're just as good. If you can get a quarterback that's just as good as Tom Brady all the way at the bottom, why pick Tom Brady?
I mean, I'm looking at the bottom, and obviously, just to clear it up to anybody who's immediately shut this podcast off because you said that, we're talking about fantasy production here, not skill, because Brady is the best. But, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Andrew Luck, Roethlisberger, Rivers, Wentz, freaking Prescott and Smith are down there. Like, you don't need Brady up there.
We don't need Brady up there. That could have been another running back, my friend.
Yeah. His draft is middle of the road at best.
Yep. We'll have to see how he plays. And here's the thing about Dean. He's not scared to make trades.
Right. And so That's the thing that will always keep him in the running is if he hits a trade.
And here's
He's
what
got to hit
keeps him
something.
out of the running. He is like the worst at picking the right players every week. I mean, look, I gotta pull up this chart. He's so bad. Oh man.
Dean.
Are you looking it up on yours?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Let's go
So
2017
if we go
here.
leaders.
Look at this. Look at this. Last year, Joe Buck yourself, 79.5%. 79.5%. He was.
You know what's funny? He's 79.5 week 1. He is literally a 79% coach.
Oh,
See, you get a C plus.
Dean, you gotta find somebody to pick your lineups for you, buddy. Run your team, but let somebody else pick your lineups.
Oh, his flex scored 2 points.
Oh my God, Dean, so bad. Ah, poor Dean. Poor Dean. Love you, man.
79.5. All right,
I
so
love you.
let this record show week 1, 79.5. That better be higher than that, Dean, by week 10.
Okay, I think Dean is gonna miss the playoffs, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, I don't see him winning the division, so that puts him at I need a good record spot. And without a trade, it's not going to happen. I mean, he's sitting at a 21% playoff odds after week 1. He would have lost to 8 teams in the league.
Oof.
So, I love that overall wins. That's probably the stat I'm most excited about.
Yeah, me too. I like that chart a lot. Let's move on to. What do you think about Joe Buck yourself? Where do you think he's gonna be?
He won't be Joe Buck yourself next year.
All right. Let's.
So you can. He wanted to buy that shirt for the longest time. He keeps talking about it. He wants to buy the Joe Buck yourself shirt with his freaking name on it, even though he spelled it wrong in the draft, which whatever. Good lord, Jesus, 79.5 at spelling too. So Joe Buck will. I guess he's gonna miss out on the shirt because he's not gonna be called that anymore.
Yeah. Don't spend your money, friend.
Nope.
Let's go to the Montana Musket Loaders.
Yes.
A Kareem Hunt.
This is the team I'm most confused about. I think
Why is that?
because I could see the team being good
Mhm.
if all the stars align, but it needs to be lucky. It's like the most luck-driven team.
Okay.
Because I mean, Julio Jones is a rock star.
He
Right,
is. If
but
he
for some reason, it's not working.
can't catch touchdowns, that's the reason.
Right. Amari Cooper was open, but he still didn't get the ball.
Oh, Amari Cooper is a terrible pick.
You know what I mean? It's like he's great as a talent, but like
Is
all
he?
of their situation, I think he's great. I think he's a really good wide receiver. He's a good combination of speed, route running. If he can get hands a little bit better and a better offensive scheme because it's not that strong right now. Because I mean, good lord, Chucky, what the hell are you doing over there?
I think Amari Cooper is one of those guys who we all wants to be really good because he's like got the body of Julio Jones. You know, he's big, he's fast, and you're like, oh man, you're big and fast. Come on, you got to do something. But he just can't. He just doesn't seem to have the other talents around him to make it work. That's how I feel.
Okay. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I also get skewed a little bit because I'm such a big college football fan, and
Right.
he was so good in college.
He was dominant
Like,
in college. You're right.
nobody could stop him. And that's the same mentality I had as the wide receiver that the Falcons took in the draft this year. What's his name?
I'm blanking, man.
You know who I'm talking.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And, you know, he could potentially be a sneaky little pickup later on in the season. It's Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
On the
Calvin
same
Ridley.
team. Yeah, Calvin Ridley. Sneaky pickup, or, you know, sneaky play. If he hangs on
Yeah.
to Calvin Ridley, never know. It could be good later on.
I think Calvin Ridley is very talented, same as Amari Cooper, but it's like Cam Newton got to get lucky for him to be good, because who knows if he's going to run and get hurt. Derrick Henry, he's battling Deion Lewis. You got Robert Woods, you know, that he's a big play wide receiver. Kyle Rudolph, like you saw last week, this is the quintessential microcosm of his team. Kyle Rudolph got 0 targets except for 1 touchdown pass.
Yep.
It's like, good lord. Jags D, probably
But
solid.
that again, that's on tight ends because tight ends suck.
Yes.
Just,
So it's like
it's so
that
hard.
team is just question marks down the damn line. Nick Chubb, Kelvin Benjamin, Kenny Stills, question mark, question mark, question mark.
All
Prescott,
question marks. All question marks.
Yep. That's why I'm like, this team just, I have no idea. Devontae Booker could be his best pick.
No way. Devontae Booker is not even going to be playing anymore.
I mean, it could be. What if he's the best one, or the running back on that team? I don't know.
I'm going to give you a hint here, Mr. Loader. Drop Devontae Booker and pick up Doug Martin, just in case Marshawn Lynch gets benched.
Ooh, Doug Martin. Okay.
Because if I'm just watching that Oakland game, Marshawn Lynch wasn't doing much, and then when they put Doug Martin on the field, he ran the ball well.
I will say, Marshawn Lynch gave me my favorite highlight of the week, though, when he ran in from like the 10-yard line, pushing everyone in. It was so good.
Yeah,
That was so cool.
He is a beast on the goal line. He always is.
Which Seahawks got PTSD from that. They're like, oh god.
Oh, why couldn't we do that?
Yep. Oh, we were at the 1, and he just literally pushed a pile from the 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Gross.
Anyway, I don't see him making the playoffs
No,
with
unfortunately.
that roster.
Fortunately
But
not.
again, he has, I think, some guys that are kind of like hype beasts that could get traded.
Hey, I mean, his guys could also, you never know. Nick Chubb could take over the running back job and end
Right.
up being really good. Who knows? I mean, the Browns' offensive line is not that bad.
No, I actually like the Browns,
Oh,
except for their coach. Like, their coach is the worst thing, but I like the roster.
yeah. Next year, maybe
So,
they'll be good.
Question marks, man. Just up and down. So, this is one of those teams where I'm probably gonna make a prediction and be wrong, but I'll be happy with it because I had no idea.
Yeah, honestly, I think your team is a giant gamble, and I think a lot of those gambles will not pay off, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. It's tough.
yeah.
So I'm gonna say, I already have. I think, who did I put on the bubble? Martian Law was on the bubble. So I would say he's gonna be 7th. Or I'm sorry, 8th, since 7th is the bubble. I would say, which is exactly. I'm looking at this right now, which is exactly where he is right now.
Yep.
Because
See
right now,
that.
out of the playoffs, I have Martian Law, Montana, Joe, and Holden.
And that sounds pretty good. And unfortunately, it
Which would make me
sucks that
sad for
Martial
Martial
Law.
Law.
Yeah, I really don't want him to miss. I really don't want him to miss the playoffs, but it looks like it might happen. One of these teams have to. We do have a lot of really good teams, so one team
Right.
has to miss the playoffs.
And so it's and what's funny is if that does happen, let's say it's Martian, Montana, Joe, Holden, that means Alex makes the playoffs with an injury-ridden roster. So that's I don't know, maybe Alex is out and Martian sneaks in because of the injuries. We'll see.
Yeah. And now we got the House of Priapism.
Which I'm so excited, just as a side note, this is my, I love this league. It's, something I've always wanted. And now that we're doing all this media stuff, it's really fun. And I'm so happy we're already 3 seasons in and we have a history. It's like we're talking about him winning season
Right.
1. And so it's cool.
It is pretty cool. Hope we keep going forever. Forever.
Yep, even if I do move, which looks like it'll happen. But
Yeah. So we
we're going to
got
make the draft.
here Senor Melvin Gordon and Saquon Barkley on that 12-man turn in there, running back.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Priapism. Okay.
Yeah.
Priapism. Yeah, Melvin Gordon, Saquon Barkley. That could be a home run. It could be.
Saquon Barkley looks good, man. Looks real good.
That's what I'm saying. That could be a home run. Did you read the story, speaking of Melvin Gordon? Melvin Gordon said that he gets mistaken for Todd Gurley in public, and it's making him upset.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because they're both in L.A.,
Uh-huh.
and they look exactly the same. Because they both got the dreads flowing out of the
Right,
helmet.
right,
They're
right.
both, same stature, and he's getting upset about it.
He's got to cut the dreads, man. He's got to make
He
a new
needs to
persona.
get that Chargers team out of L.A. is the problem. That Chargers team does not belong there.
No, they don't. They need to find somewhere else. Go to Mexico.
Yeah, go back to San Diego. That's ugh.
Again, like I said, go to Mexico, San Diego.
Yeah.
True. And then he goes and gets Tyreek Hill.
Great pick.
Yeah, looking like a great pick.
Well, just because they rely on him so much, like
They-
we were saying earlier.
Like I said, I think this man is the team. I think he is the team. Tyreek Hill is like that guy who's like average of everything, but he's so fast, like insanely fast. He's so fast that as he's running by defenders, he lets off the gas, gives them a peace sign, and he's still running faster than the defenders. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
He's a freak.
is absolute freak. Yeah, this dude will carry the Chiefs if
Yeah.
if people don't figure out how to play against him.
And that's the thing. It's like I can't wait till they figure out that Hill can just run straight and Mahomes can just throw it, and we'll see how many times that works.
It worked in preseason.
Yeah.
Well,
With Kelsey, so back-to-back Chiefs picks for the Chiefs
Back-to-back.
fans. So
Yep, yep. And again, I don't really believe in tight ends, but if you're gonna pick a tight end, it's got to be Gronk or Kelsey or Ertz. So I mean, I don't really hate the pick.
I mean, I think other than Olsen, the tight ends went exactly correct in our draft.
I would have gone Ertz instead of Kelsey.
Okay, so you would have flipped the Ertz. Okay.
I would have definitely flipped the Ertz. And losing Alex
Sorry.
Smith, I think is going to be really big for Kelsey. So I don't think he's going to be
You
as
also
good.
have to think like, excuse me, Priapism had the choice between Ertz and Kelsey, and he's the biggest Chiefs fan ever. So you had to see that go.
Right, but he could also have picked Adam Thielen there.
Yeah.
You know,
My boy.
could have picked Adam Thielen. I think Larry Fitzgerald even like they would have been really good. He could have picked another running back. Lamar Miller right there again. He could have been the guy who had Lamar Miller to potentially win him his league. I just hate picking these tight ends early unless it's Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I don't think you're doing your team any favor.
His next few picks, the Golden Tate, who I always seem to have on my team, so I'm glad he took that burden from me. The Crowell, I think the Funchess might be, because this is just what those blogs were saying, Funchess was going to be another sleeper.
Right.
Funchess' name was all over these sleeper
Right.
blogs.
You know what I'm surprised is that he got Funchess, and then he got Will Fuller. Like I would have put Will Fuller in that spot, but the fact that he got both,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
You know what? Like Devontae Parker and Doxson are not bad picks either. So I really like his wide receivers.
His wide receivers are good. You know, I just think they have a lot of. He has a lot of hit or. Here's the problem: he doesn't have a dependable wide receiver, right? All his wide receivers could go off or could do nothing.
I think Hill is his set it and forget it. It's going to put up points. But
Right.
yeah, Tate, Funchess, Fuller, Parker, Doxson. We'll see if they can be consistent enough for him.
And
And choosing the right one to be consistent.
I think this is the team that will sometimes put up over 200 and sometimes put up like 130, and you're like, what's going on? You know, like
Makes sense. Yep.
it's like just a super boom or bust team, and it's going to depend on if he can pick the right guy that week, and I think it's going to be really hard to pick that guy, the right guy that week for him.
I mean, and it's funny because according to the chart, House of Priapism is the #1 power ranking, but the 5th best roster. So he's right in the middle in terms of roster strength.
hmm
But he's 9-0 in overall wins. He would have beaten everybody.
Again, but how often
Yeah,
is
like you were
Tyreek
saying,
Hill?
like you were saying.
How often is Tyreek Hill going to put up 52 points?
Right.
That's,
Well,
that's-
hopefully not too much.
I mean, the best he did last year was 38.
Yeah.
He just it's not feasible. I don't think he can keep on doing that. And if he does, then that's the best pick of the draft. You know, it's insane. But Isaiah Crowell is looking like it could have been the best pick in the draft too. It's like another one of those picks that was late, and the guy is performing. He's balling out over there. I think the Jets could be like the sneaky playoff team this year.
Yes. I mean, I see Priapism easily making playoffs. That I do see.
Oh, of course.
So, a good enough team to win the league, because as long as you make it to the playoffs and you have a roster at the end that is hot.
No, but this is the thing though. Melvin Gordon, Barkley, Isaiah Crowell has got two running backs and a flex position that he can play every single week and just dominate.
Right.
Right,
so
those
really,
positions.
he only has to rely on 2 wide receivers.
It really does.
His running backs can be in there.
Right. You just got put the Tyreek Hill in there, and then if he picks the right wide receivers, that's why this team is so strong. It's because of that Melvin Gordon, Saquon Barkley. That is so powerful.
He solidified 2 positions every week.
Yep.
That makes it so much easier. And then he's got so many like wild cards that fit into that flex. So he really only
Right.
has to worry about Tyreek Hill. So really, 3 of those positions are set. Even Kelsey, I would say.
I mean,
4 of
you
those positions are
can't
set.
bench Kelsey. That's the thing. You cannot bench Kelsey. But that can come back and bite you in the butt, though.
Right.
I would much rather, like I said, I'd much rather have Fitz there instead of Kelsey.
So then he would have like Gordon, Barkley, Hill, Fitz. Yeah.
You know what I
That'd be
mean?
nice.
And then he could flex the tight end, but then you would have the super boom of Tyreek Hill, and then the dependable lot of catches Fitzgerald with a high floor.
And the tight end I just picked up in the waivers looks like a top five tight end just because that offense and Jimmy G relies on George Kittle.
Oh yeah,
So
George
like,
Kittle. I can't even believe he didn't get drafted.
right, and so like now he's on my team,
Right.
which makes my tight ends look even better.
Right. And it's just George, like I said, that's why I hate picking up those tight ends. I hate picking up those quarterbacks because there's always like a tight end or a
Right.
quarterback that you
And
can
by
pick
the
up
way,
late and will carry you.
If you get a chance, this is for everybody listening too. Just take a look at my roster this week and just join me in the shower of god-like rosters.
Aren't we playing each other this week?
Yeah, and I'm so excited.
All right,
about
let's
my
call it
roster
right
this
now.
week.
Game of the week. We don't even have to get to that segment. Just
No.
game of the week right there.
Yes, it is absolutely because I mean Justin Tucker only put up 7, sure, but like I'm so excited about all my matchups and all my players starting. So we'll see.
All right.
But anyway, not to take away from Priapism.
Yeah, your team is solid, man. You just got to make the right picks every week, and you're gonna be good. Look at this, Alex Smith all the way at the bottom. I love that pick. I think he's gonna be another great quarterback this year. And yeah, man.
I mean, Aaron Jones, sneaky. Again, just a sneaky player. Could start, could go off, could do this.
Yeah, he doesn't even need it
He
though.
doesn't need him to.
Doesn't even
That's
need him.
the thing. Yeah.
It's a really good team.
So,
Solid.
yeah, that's a really good team. That's a solid team.
All right, I think that wraps up our
The draft recap.
The draft
What's your favorite
recap.
pick in the draft? Your number one favorite pick.
number one favorite pick in the draft. Man, that's a tough question to lay on a guy. What's yours?
My favorite pick in the draft. I mean, not counting my team.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I know what my favorite pick in the draft is. I don't want to
know.
pick on my
Okay.
team.
We'll think about it. Maybe we'll come back to this later in the podcast. Just because it's I don't want to spend too much time thinking.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and start recapping the games last week.
Yes. So you know what's funny is I was just now looking through the teams trying to figure out if we all had a team from or all had a player from our favorite team.
Of course.
Most of us do.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
So let's not spend a lot of time on the first game here. It's Captain McGee versus H-Bug.
Oh, yeah, because obviously tomorrow, if you're listening to this tonight, we're recording this at September 15th, 10:30 at night. So,
Yep.
You probably are already moved on mentally to week 2.
Yeah, you
So-
probably haven't. Like, you're probably going to listen to this after week 2, unless you're a crazy fantasy football lover and you want to just keep up. But so here we have the biggest blowout. I'm pretty sure over 100-point difference between these two teams. I mean, like I said, I have a really solid roster. Phillip Rivers went off. My running backs did all good. Randall Cobb, like I said, sneaky.
You would have lost to only 2 teams this week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you scored well. I mean, Holden, no matter what he did, he wasn't going to win that game. So,
Yeah, you could have picked the best possible players and still would have been 70 points off.
exactly.
Oh, man, yeah. You need some work. But I think his team also banged up. Doug Baldwin was injured.
That game between Martian Law and House of Priapism was the one I was watching because that game came down to the wire. Now, it looks like a blowout from the score,
Right.
but it was really close throughout.
Which game were you talking about?
The Martian Law Priapism.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. But this is where we go with our what the fuck was he thinking?
Oh, okay.
And my pick for this week's has got to be Holden starting Matt
Okay.
Ryan over Drew Brees against the
Yes.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Now, remember how I said when we were going over Holden's draft how Matt Ryan was literally the 3rd quarterback he chose.
Oh, what is this?
And Matt Ryan was his 3rd, and he didn't start Drew Brees, who he took in the 7th round.
Oh, man.
And
What were you
I'm
thinking,
a huge
Holden?
guy that thinks Vegas knows everything. And Vegas said that the Saints Buccaneers game was going to be the highest scoring game of the week, which it was. Don't you think you start Drew Brees in the highest scoring game of the week?
Not only that, like the Buccaneers, secondary was really injured coming into that game too. It was just like we were starting a rookie against Michael Thomas. Like everything was just saying Drew Brees was going to light it up.
What the fuck of the week?
I told him.
You know what? This segment usually is going to have both people on the podcast have one, but I think we have the same one.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
No, that's the only one. There's nothing could top that. So
And he would have lost anyway, but God, dude.
yeah, we're going right here to martial law versus House of Pietism. This was the game of the week last week. If we had a podcast last week, this is the game of the week that we would have chosen. Again,
I mean, I could call the Joe Buck yourself in the Stumptavius RoboClick the game of the week if we were like all about watching two idiots fight. No offense, but look at that score: 116 to 130. My dudes.
you guys do realize we added another position to the league, right? Like,
Oh man, ooh.
that hurts.
Let's just say like Stumptavius RoboClick is 1-0, and he's still 7th on the power rankings.
So yeah, here we
Come
have.
on, guys. Alex, Dean, you don't want this to happen every week.
So let's go here back to the House of Priapism. I mean, this game was so good, like so good. 212 to 175. That's such a good game. Unfortunately, he was let down by Matt Stafford and Alex Collins. Like Alex Collins, man, like he's not getting a lot of touches. And like I said, you're playing with fire there with like guys on his bench. Just if you had Lev Bell, it would have been a different game. But again, it would have taken over the James Conner spot, so it doesn't even matter. Like,
yes, he was losing this game. But like, man, 40, 38, 18, 17. Those are solid scores. But then you have duds.
Yeah.
3, 8, and 8. I mean.
And this is what we were talking about before too. Is like, look at his wide receivers. His wide receivers are so good. Look at all those points from the wide receivers, and just this running back spot's kind of not so good. And I guess almost every other team in the league, 175 would have done it. But when you go up against another one of the best teams in the league, you got to be able to pull it out. And unfortunately, it wasn't, because look at this: Melvin Gordon, 30 points; Saquon Barkley, 24; Tyreek Hill, 50 points.
He ran into a buzzsaw.
And you know what's crazy? This guy picked 100%. Could not have picked better. Did that happen at all last season?
I don't think so. But granted, 3 of his guys are out.
Yeah.
So he only had to beat Doxson, Johnson, and Coleman.
Yep. And here again,
Johnson, not David Johnson.
let's look at Travis Kelce again. Like, this is why I hate picking tight ends. Look at this. This is supposed to be your workhorse. You plug and play, right? It's got 1 point.
6 targets, only 1 catch.
And again, I think that's Patrick Mahomes. I don't think the dude's that good.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. If you this is what you take solace in, though. You look at the targets, 6 targets. That is fine. So you keep him in there. You're not frustrated with the 1 point.
No, you
You're
can't.
like, okay, 6 targets. Yep.
He's just going to be kicking himself because he's a Chiefs fan. Is going to see that they got rid of one of the best quarterbacks in the league to play this rookie who's got an amazing arm. But I just don't.
Chalk this up to the Chiefs update.
All right, let's go on to another amazing game. That was the couple match.
Yeah.
My dad owns a dealership versus the Chalupa Batman.
Yes, 2 of the best pictures in the league, too, if you ask me.
Oh, very A+.
Yeah. I think I love Chalupa Batman's picture.
It's so good.
The best thing ever, yeah.
It's so good.
But she put up a solid performance.
100%.
71.
I mean, really disappointed in Deshaun Watson. I thought he would be able to do something against New England. Didn't he blow up against New England last year?
Yes, he did.
You'd think maybe that's Bill Belichick figured it out. Like, okay, this is what happened last week, not happening again, or last year, not going to happen again.
And you gotta say, like, Belichick is the same as like Nick Saban in college. You give him more than 1 week to prepare for a game, and he will solve you.
Yeah, he'll destroy you. It's just one of those things. You have the best coach in the leagues. So you gotta find a way to shut you down.
And here's the perfect example of why you don't like wide receivers on winning teams. Because you have Michael Crabtree in a game where they win 47-3, and he only put up 12 points.
Yeah.
Because they stopped passing the ball. And so...
Didn't have to.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But, I mean, solid game by her. She had a 97% coaching rating, but James White, would have helped a little bit.
Yeah, but again, New England wide receiver, you can't, or running back, you can't pick those. So this is just so hard to. Let's look at her roster. Deion Lewis and Todd Gurley. You're not going to pick one there. Who she play at the flex? One of her wide receivers. So she got
Devontae Adams.
I mean, yeah. Look at that. That's.
Yeah, I mean, she made the right choice.
She made right choices all over the place.
She wouldn't have beat me. Yeah.
Just Oh, she has an amazing team. definitely gonna go. You definitely won on the back of Alvin Kamara, though. That's one of those
Yeah.
things where the matchup was in your favor, and he took care of it, man.
Yeah. I mean, only one person on my entire team scored less than double digits.
Hmm.
And that was my tight end Jimmy Graham, who now got replaced by Kittle, so that's fixed.
Yep.
And like I streamed Dalton, who I didn't even draft. Let this be a lesson to everybody. I did not draft my starting quarterback.
Yep. And he took care of it for you.
Yeah, he scored
19
19
points.
points.
I
Now,
mean,
granted, Patrick Mahomes was the pick, but I wasn't considering the Chargers, who I think has some of the, one of the best secondaries in the league.
no, you can't pick that. But
Right.
again, you can't predict the fact that how often is Tyreek Hill going to catch a pass like 5 yards out and make it a 60-yard
Take it to the
touchdown.
house, yeah.
It-
And so I streamed my quarterback and still scored 19 points. And I don't know. Really happy with my performance. Great game.
yeah, your team is looking really solid.
And then what's the last game of the week? Because
We
I'm not
got
giving any time to the Joe Bucks Tumptavious. Any of it. Really
none of it.
just
No,
me on my computer.
we're gonna shut it off. Okay, so we got Breaker Chains against Montana Musketeers. Again, this is one of the teams that we thought is going to go to the playoffs, and one of the teams that's probably on the bubble and probably not gonna make it. Andrew Luck came out, played his heart out, scored a bunch of points.
Yep.
Um,
Thank you for that, by the way, because T.Y. Hilton is the beneficiary of that.
Yep. It's like the really big surprise, Joe Mixon behind that new offensive line, putting up almost 30 points. That's so good.
Against the Colts, sorry, D, which is always seems to be sorry.
Yeah, that's again, and it's the Colts. So, and Emmanuel Sanders, has got a new quarterback. He's putting up points too. Rob
Yep.
Gronkowski, there you go. You got
There,
if you're gonna
there it is. Yep.
if you pick
23 points.
you pick a tight end, that's who you pick, and that's why. It's just not really many.
I didn't see the Chargers only getting 4 points though.
Yeah, I didn't think that's gonna happen. I think they have a really good defense. Again,
I do
Tyreek
too.
Hill just ruined that.
Yes.
I think that's probably coaching, man. You got to find a way to shut that guy down.
Yeah. I mean, Royce Freeman only 10. I mean, that's the gamble we were talking about in the draft.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be better than this too. I honestly thought Royce Freeman was going to be better than that. But had Royce Freeman had a touchdown, we wouldn't be talking about this.
And here's the thing, like, Fitz scoring 15, that is every week. Larry Fitzgerald is going to score 15 points
every single week. Every once in a while, he score 20 because he'll get a touchdown.
Right.
But he's going to catch 8 passes and around 70 yards almost every week.
Exactly.
So-
I mean, he got 10 targets week 1, and that will happen every single time.
It would always happen, no matter who they're playing. It does not matter. Fitzgerald is going to get targets. This guy's good.
I would give him the set it and forget it player as long as you need 15 points of all time. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the other side and you're looking at Montana, where 8, 6, 7, 3, 8. I mean, good lord, dude, you're not going to win games doing that.
And this is what we're saying is that's where the gambles came in. He took a lot of these gambly players and they're not working out. Kareem Hunt's supposed to be his workhorse, right? 8 points.
The number one pick in the his number one pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
8 points.
Did have Kenny Stills in his bench, 26.2 or 26.6 points with 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he did start a running back in the flex that scored only 6.
Yeah. He's gonna have a hard time picking these players. Is just
His decisions every week are probably going to be the toughest of any team.
it's gonna be tough.
Like he's going to probably be the most.
And I'm surprised that
frustrating.
he's got 80% picking. Like 80% is pretty low. 84% is pretty low.
0, a 2, a 2, and a 3 on your bench.
Yeah, that'll do it too. Yeah. He's gonna have a hard time, man. You're gonna have a hard time. And you sure you don't wanna give the two unspeakable some love here?
Mm-hmm. I looked at it. I clicked the box score and my monitor shut off. So don't know what to do there.
Hey, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Both teams picked their very best players. Dean wins. But Dean, with his 79.5%.
You're right, dude. Optimum score, 147, 141, which still would have been garbage. Yeah, Dean would have won if they both were 100% coaches. But and here's the thing: it's not that Dean got screwed. His Adrian Peterson pick, and I was gonna say this: Adrian Peterson, he's old, yes, and I mean old for a running back. He's been out for a year-ish. And so it's like, if you're going to play him, you play him week 1 when he's
Yeah,
fresh.
you don't play the rookie who the coaches don't know what to do with on week 1. I understand you picked him first in the draft, but he's the rookie. He's not going to get touches now. You pick Adrian Peterson.
And against a team who you couldn't name any defensive players for, except for Patrick Peterson.
Yep, that's the only one. I was going to say Patrick Peterson. You took it out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's the only guy you can name on that D. I mean, if you were following the league, I guess you could say Chandler Jones, but that's not a household name. So that's tough, man. I just don't see. This is my second what the fuck pick of the week. Is not starting Adrian Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what's sad? If he just started Adrian Peterson,
He would have won.
doesn't he?
Yes, he wins. He starts
Yeah, he
Adrian
wins.
Peterson. He wins the game.
Yep. So Dean should have won. This is one of those games he's going to look back on if he's a couple games out of the playoffs and say, I should have won this game.
Dean is a good general manager. Terrible head coach.
Yeah, he's good, Tuesday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday, bad. Bad Dean.
Yo,
Does he get drunk and then make his lineup? Is that the thing?
that's the thing, Dean. Seriously, man, you gotta get your offensive coordinator and let him run your plays for you.
Dude, go to fantasypros.com, click who do I start, and just copy paste it.
Oh man! All right, so let's go on to this week, and I'm gonna start out with what I think is we have 2 really good games this week, but I think this one's gonna take it. Captain
And this
McGee.
is the last segment of the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody, you only got to hold out for a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. I know we ran out really long this week. It's not
But
supposed.
like you said, this is only the first one because we had to do the draft. After this, it's going to be real quick, 30 minutes in and out.
Yep.
We got this.
So here we go. Going to be myself versus you, Captain McGee versus my dad owns a dealership. Right now,
Game of the week, man.
Game of the week, so good. I got Phillips Rivers against the Buffalo defense who can't stop anyone. And you got Patrick Mahomes against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, that could be an absolute shootout. So right starting from our quarterbacks, it's going to be both of them can blow up. Our running backs, Jay Ajayi against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think is going to wreak havoc. The only 16 points, I think he's going to get more than 16 points.
Yep.
They got David Johnson versus Los Angeles Rams. I don't think he's going to be that good. I mean, I know he's my workhorse, but the Rams are a good defense this year. Sue, man, that addition, that's rough. That's a hard
But here's the thing about Arizona, you have to ride David. So it's not like
yeah,
you're going to give up on him.
Yeah, they're going to find a way. But then again, we got Christian McCaffrey versus Atlanta. Atlanta's banged up. They're all hurt all over the place. I think Christian McCaffrey can come back and blow up. You got Alvin Kamara against the Cleveland Browns. Man, that sucks for me.
I'm telling you, I love my matchups. Just go. Oh, dude, I'm like.
Chris Thompson versus the. Zip it back up. Gross.
Keep going.
Chris Thompson against the Colts on your flex. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people would want to have that.
Yeah.
Whereas I got Tariq Cohen. I mean, I'm choosing to bench Lamar Miller this week, going against Tennessee. I'm hoping Tariq Cohen can pull something, but you never know. I might change it sometime. That's the interesting pick I got going so far for my team right there.
Yeah. I mean, just looking down, according to the projections, I'm only 3 points higher than you.
Yeah,
And
and
if I were to put little check marks, I think I like my matchups more.
No, most certainly. You got T.Y. Hilton versus Washington. I mean, their pass defense is pretty good.
Thielen against Green Bay, Odell against Dallas, Kittle against Detroit. Ugh! Keep it going!
But then again, I do have Mike Evans, who's matchup proof. We got Jimmy Smith against Kansas City. We both said that's going to be a blowout, right? This could be Tampa Bay versus the New Orleans Saints this week.
Right, in Kansas City with no Marcus Peters anymore.
So Jimmy Smith could absolutely blow up for 25, 30 points this game. He could score just as much, if not more.
Smith, right?
Yeah,
Juju.
yeah, Juju.
Okay.
What was I saying?
Jimmy.
Why was I saying Jimmy?
I don't know.
I'm an idiot.
We're an hour in. It's gonna happen.
It's already almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I think the Bears, if anybody's going to win it for me, maybe the Bears will pull it off, get a touchdown, get some sacks.
And your kicker in Denver, so that's always nice.
Yeah, that's true too. Again, I hate to say this,
and the
but
Bears D is nice.
Bears D is nice. I hate to say this.
It's a broken Seattle team.
I think you got me this week.
We'll
Yeah.
see, but I mean,
You started
it's
off
one of
with
those.
only 7 points though from your kicker, so that might
Right.
help.
He was projected at 7.8, so
Yeah,
right on it.
yeah, it's a kicker. Let's go up to
Yeah.
the next game. H-Bug versus Priapism. Okay, let's go on to the
So,
game
out
after
of the
that.
kindness and generous, out of the kindness of Priapism's heart, he said, "You know what? Holden needs a help," and he put up -1 points on Thursday. He did it out of help, like he knew it.
Even with that -1.
Dude, look at the. Oh my God, the Optimums. Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey, Holden, take Doug Bolden out of your starting lineup. All
You
right.
know?
Hey, how about you start Drew Brees playing Cleveland at home?
God.
How about you do that, Holden? Jesus Christ, man.
You know, I've started a strategy every week where I take all my players off of my starting lineup, so I have my benches, all of them, and then I start from scratch every week. Holden, do that.
That's what he did week 1, and somehow he chose Matt Ryan over Drew
Oh my
Brees. Ah!
This
Okay,
team is only projected to score 127 points.
Dylan, you can't see my screen. I already moved on, buddy.
Okay,
I'm on Martial Law versus Joe Buck yourself.
I will say just to give Priapism some love here because he doesn't need to be hurt because of who he's going against Holden, but like his team looks good this week. I like his team. He's going to score 170 plus even with the negative. So
All right. Yeah, I mean it's a good team. What can you say? Joe Buck yourself is starting Tom Brady against Jacksonville.
Good luck.
Yeah, and this is why you don't draft a quarterback in the 4th round. Why won't you
Because now
go?
you're kind of locked to him.
Yeah, and he's playing Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmy Garoppolo against Detroit. I think he's going to bounce back huge this week. He
Yes.
had a bad game, played against Minnesota. Everybody
But
plays
that's
bad
the
against
thing.
Minnesota.
I watched that game obviously, but like that team is good.
It's a
Like,
good
that
team.
is not a bad team
Minnesota just has one of the best defenses in the league. What are you going to do? Say
of all time. Like I know I'm being like
a homer?
very hyperbolic here, but that Vikings D is so stacked.
You're like me and the Bucks.
Yes, like just in terms of like last year with first in points per game, first in yards allowed, and then you add Sheldon Richardson, who had the most quarterback pressure in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh. And DVOA, according to Football Pros or whatever it is, DVOA they were #1. It's just incredible.
Okay, so now let's see. We think quarterback goes to Martial Law.
Yes.
He's got first running back Alex Collins. Like I said, there's a weak spot on the team right here. Martial Law. Your running backs
But
are
scored
weak.
14 with them, so respectable.
He's got Adrian Peterson or Joe Buck yourself is going to go Adrian Peterson. I think against Indianapolis, Adrian Peterson is probably going to have another 20-point game.
So let's do it this way. So let's take all the running backs. Let's talk about really quickly all the running backs, and then we'll give the edge to whatever team.
Okay.
So
Alex
Joe
Collins
Buck's got-
already played.
Okay, good.
13.8. And then James Conner against Kansas City.
Who gets a ton of volume?
All the volume. All the volume.
Right.
And then Adrian Peterson against Indianapolis.
Mhm.
And Kenyon Drake versus the Jets. So I think Kenyon Drake is going to definitely do better than Alex Collins did. And Adrian Peterson and James Conner are both going to be really good.
I predict Martial Law to score 40 points with his running backs.
Okay.
And then let's say Peterson goes off for 20 and Drake goes off for 20. It's almost a push.
It's a push. And even with the push, I think Martial Law is slightly ahead. Very, very slightly. Okay. And then if you were to show me A.J. Green against Baltimore before the game started, I would have said, nah. But you chopped 30 points.
30 points.
30
Only
points.
70 yards. Only 70 yards, but 3 touchdowns.
And then he's got Jarvis Landry. He's going to be a target machine against the Saints because,
the worst pass defense of last week, obviously.
Again, that's due to the best wide receiving core in the league playing against them. Yeah. But Jarvis Landry, Tyrod Taylor loves to throw those short passes. He does not know how to throw the ball deep. So point per reception for Jarvis Landry.
Michael Thomas is a monster.
In the same game, Michael Thomas against the Browns is going to eat. And then on the other side, we got Hopkins versus Tennessee, Stephon Diggs versus Green Bay. It's going to be a good match. And then Cooper Kupp against Arizona. I'm going to give this to martial law
Yeah, it's safely Martian Law.
safely.
Even without the AJ Green scoring 30, I would have said this.
And in the flex, we got Brandon Cooks against Arizona. Again, this is a boom or bust. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Could be big, could be bad. Chris Godwin against Philadelphia.
I will give the edge to Cooks because I have more faith in the Rams.
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a tie. I think Chris Godwin is like really good, but the Philadelphia defense is really strong. Maybe they
Actually, I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna say Godwin, and here's my reasoning.
Okay.
LA is gonna go up and not throw the ball.
Oh, you're just gonna run the ball, huh?
Yeah. I think Todd Gurley is gonna be the running back one this week. So
I think these two are gonna be a really good push on each other.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get around 10 points, but you never know. And Brandon Cooks could have a goose egg this game. Honestly, believe he could have a goose game. Could have 20 points too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Boom.
He could be the one that puts him up 30 points.
And then Martial Law did the smart thing, picked up Senor Cook off the waiver wire. I wish we had a fab system. I would have bid so much money on Cook.
Yeah, that kid looks like a beast.
And Joe Buck yourself had Tyler Eifert. Did not do well. I think
I would have gone with Cook regardless.
would have gone with Cook regardless, but the Broncos have a good defense, so I don't think he's going to go off too hard. I think the 10 points is reasonable. Kickers, Crosby might get a lot of work because Minnesota can stop backers from getting in the end zone. Crosby can kick some in.
And Vinatieri's kicking in the rain in Washington, so
yeah. And then Jets stopping Miami, I think that's very possible. But Broncos going up against Oakland, I think the Broncos can really kick Oakland in the mouth.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I see this game actually being decently close.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's going to be separated by about 10 points, which is decently close. But I still see Martial Law going 1-1.
Dean, my advice to you, if you listen to this before the game, put Lindsey instead of Chris Godwin in your lineup. Ooh. Just saying.
And this is coming from a Buccaneers fan.
This is coming from a Buccaneers fan. Look, Oakland, not so good. They're not going to hand the ball off to Freeman the entire time. They're going to split carries.
Yeah.
So, and there's going to be a lot of carries to go around. Let's go on to the next game. Got Montana.
Yeah, do you have Martial Law winning that game, though?
I have Martial Law winning that game. Yeah. We got Montana versus Tavius.
Yes.
Starting out here, their quarterbacks. Russell Wilson against Chicago. I don't think he's going to do that good.
No.
Cam Newton against Atlanta. I think he can do that good.
There's the edge. I give Cam the edge. So Montana wins the quarterback battle.
Running backs, we got Marshawn Lynch and Kareem Hunt. Marshawn against Denver. That's a rough. But Kareem Hunt against Pittsburgh could be a blowout.
And we can say, since Devontae Freeman is out, we can safely say Latavius Murray will probably be starting there tomorrow.
Doesn't have anybody else.
Yeah.
so yes, we can safely say that.
So yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Lynch and Hunt.
yeah. Let's go here on the flex. Carlos Hyde. And Derrick Henry. Yeah, I'd say Carlos Hyde would probably do better than Derrick Henry.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
And the wide receivers.
So finally we give an edge to Alex. So far, Montana's got 2 edges, Stump's got 1.
Derrick Henry, we're looking on the wide receivers now. So Julio and Stills and Amari Cooper. Those all seem, Cooper against Denver, that seems like a really bad matchup. But Julio against Carolina, that can work. Kenny Stills against New York Jets, that's a boom or bust.
Antonio Brown's going to go off.
Antonio Brown's going to go off against Kansas City. John Brown already had a great game against Cincinnati, 20 points.
Over double his projection.
Over double. And then Philip Dorsett on Jacksonville.
That's a risky pick.
Risky, man.
He looked good, though.
He looked great. He looked great.
But Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville.
And then here in tight end, he's going to go
ahead. Who
ahead.
are we giving that to?
I'm going to give it to
Antonio Brown on one side.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to the side that has Antonio Brown.
Okay. Even with Dorsett.
Even with Dorsett there.
Because, I think Amari Cooper and Dorsett kind of wash each other out.
Yeah, they're both going to be crap.
They're
both going to have a rough time. So Antonio Brown and John Brown, Kenny Stills is going to be a risky pick. So yeah, definitely gonna
Okay.
go there. And then when we go to tight end, we got Will Disley,
Hmm.
the rookie who had maybe something for the future. Maybe
Maybe he
not.
goes off because Doug Baldwin's out. Maybe.
I mean, he only had 3 catches last week.
I know.
And then Kyle Rudolph against Green Bay. That's a big game. Again, tight ends, flip a coin. Who knows?
Khalil Mack will be all over Russell Wilson that game. So I don't know if Disley's going to get the ball. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he has to throw the ball to his short
Yeah,
target. So
exactly.
maybe it is Will Disley. Maybe it's a running back. Who knows?
Rudolph
Kickers.
gets the edge though.
Yeah, you think so? I think it's a
Yeah.
wash. But
Okay.
Rudolph, I think you're probably right, though. Rudolph probably does win it. Man, if you got to take that Devontae Freeman out of your lineup.
They got the kicking matchup. Gano Zerline, same game.
Head to head.
Head to head. That's exciting. Go ahead and put that on your 7th TV.
Hey, Zerline's going to win this one for him. He's going to win him the game. Calling
Yeah.
it. And then on defense, Jags against New England, and the Rams against Arizona. You know what? Rams against
Wow.
Arizona. Right here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right here.
absolutely. The Rams are going to put up 20 points.
Let's look at this guy's bench. See, he can play. He can play Sammy Watkins against Pittsburgh. And again, I don't believe in Sammy Watkins,
Right.
but
He could play Blake Bortles against New England.
yeah, I would definitely play Blake Bortles against New England instead of Russell
Or
Wilson.
Aaron. No, I wouldn't play Aaron Rodgers.
I want to play Aaron Rodgers. And again, that's why you don't draft a quarterback.
Oh God, it hurts so bad to take a quarterback in the 5th round and never play him.
Yeah. Put Sammy Watkins in there. Put Latavius Murray in there. Put someone in there.
I think T.J. Yeldon goes off. So I don't know. I think that's a sneaky pick.
Go to the waiver wire. Find somebody. Listen, I think Latavius wins this game. And, yeah, it's just two bad teams going up against each other.
I'm gonna call Montana winning this game
All right.
because Stumptavius is such in a shitty spot with running backs right now.
He can find somebody, though, if he's got time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't know if he will.
And then
So I'm gonna go with Montana.
All right, so opposing picks here.
Yep.
So right now, I'm going to go
Both
to...
teams will be 1-1 after this week for me.
And we got
The
another...
last game of the week.
This is another game that could be the game of the week. I just think our game is a little bit better. We got Ben Roethlisberger against Kansas City. I think that's going to be an absolute shootout. And Deshaun Watson against Tennessee. I think Ben Roethlisberger gets this one.
Yes.
And then
That's gonna be close though.
yep. Joe Mixon got hurt last week. Didn't really play a lot. Got 13.9 points, but Breaker Chain's got Ezekiel Elliott against the Giants. And on the other side, we got Deion Lewis against Houston and Todd Gurley against Arizona. I'm going to give the nod to Chalupa Batman.
Yeah, I think Gurley goes off for 30 plus.
Yeah. Deion Lewis, I think, is also going to have a good game, catching a lot of passes off the backfield.
Especially when you go against Houston, who has a pretty decent D. You want that scat back to get around JJ and all them. So
You just want somebody to catch the ball out of the backfield instead of running it up the
So
gut.
I think the running back is really nice for Chalupa right now.
On the flex, we have Crabtree, who already played. He got 10 points versus Royce Freeman against Oakland. I think Royce Freeman is going to take this one. Probably a good 15, 16 points this week.
Yep. I mean, and Oakland is forever going to be tied to Khalil Mack this year, so we're going to constantly say, oh, if they had Khalil Mack.
Yep. And then let's go on over to wide receivers. Fitzgerald against the Rams. That's rough, but, Fitz is always going to get 15 points.
Projected at 14.
Emmanuel Sanders against
Must be a
Oakland.
bad game.
I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to have another really good week, and Allen Robinson against Seattle, against the Chicago teams, up or down. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Right.
And then on the other side, you got Demaryius Thomas in the same game. Emmanuel Sanders. One of them is going to have a good game against Oakland.
Yes. I think Demarius and Keenan both put up almost 20 each, but Devontae might get shut down.
And we have Keenan Allen against Buffalo. And Chalupa's got Devontae Adams against Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't like that matchup. Can you really sit your stud?
You could put in Aguilar against Tampa.
I would definitely put in Aguilar against Tampa, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I'd 100% put in Aguilar against Tampa.
You got to do that.
And then, who do you give the edge to here?
If Aguilar against Tampa, I would go with Chalupa easily.
I agree. Aguilar against Tampa, you'd have three
The
wide
matchups are too
receivers.
juicy, man.
A super juicy matchup. Somebody's going to go off out of those three.
Oakland, Buffalo, and Tampa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, somebody's going to go there. And then tight end Grob Gronkowski against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow, that's a.
If
I
you-
gotta go with Ertz actually here.
I'm going with Ertz.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams. Tampa Bay has a really crappy secondary, but they actually do really well against the tight ends because they have these small linebackers that are really good at running.
Exactly.
Really
Telvin
fast.
Smith is so fast. That
But
was
then
his
again,
knock,
yeah.
Actually, you have Telvin Smith on Jacksonville, who obviously coming from Florida State, he was judged as being too small. But with how the league is wanting faster linebackers, he is now the perfect linebacker.
He is. And it's silly to me that the NFL has taken so long to get that going. You look at the two best 4-3 linebackers in the league, and my outside linebackers in the league, I would say it's Telvin Smith and Levante David. Two guys who people said is too small, but guess what? They run and they cover the entire field, and they can still tackle. As long as they can still tackle, what does it matter if how big they are?
The last position to evolve in the NFL is the offensive line, and so the offensive line, they're still big, they're still massive. Yeah, they're getting a little bit quicker. They gotta catch up to the speed of these defenders now. These defensive ends are getting smaller and faster.
I think the problem is all the good athletes that are big guys are going on the defensive side because they get paid more and it's more prestigious to get sacks. Nobody cares about the big guys on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. So, that's why you see so many offensive lines in the NFL just suck. You need 5 guys, and none of the really talented guys want to play there.
I just think the offensive linemen are behind the 8 ball. It's like they're still trained and brought up from high school to just be big dudes.
Yeah.
Just get in the way.
And I don't understand why they have to be so fat.
Right.
You
And
look
so
at the
it's like
guys
they're
on
just
defense.
big dudes.
You look at Myles Garrett, right? He weighs 260 pounds, but he's 260 pounds of pure muscle. Like, why can't you have an offensive lineman like that?
Either. It's not like it's a new phenomenon. You had John Randall for the Vikings in the 90s, who was the smallest dude on the field, but he blew by every fat offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why can't we start training these kids to be good athletes on the O-line that can get in front of these dudes and not have to hold them? Because that's why they hold them, is because they're so fast.
Yeah. I mean, they just need to be... I don't understand this whole obsession with you have to be fat to play the offensive line. You have to put on those extra pounds. I think if you were a little bit lighter, you can move your feet a little bit faster. I think the edge you get in positioning your body would probably outweigh the extra weight you put on, you know?
Yeah, and obviously they want the bigger dudes because they might be a little bit stronger and they might be able to push the line for running game, but there's got to be a better way.
Again, I think just being faster and getting better positioning on the guy that you're blocking might
to seal edges rather than push them out of the way.
Push them out of the way. You can run a zone scheme instead of a power scheme. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, why do we go there? We're talking about fantasy football.
that was some football talk.
That was some football talk. Again, Rob Gronkowski against Zach Ertz. I think they're both going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think they're both.
Oh, it's because we were talking about Jacksonville's D.
Yeah.
And fast against. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be a wash when it comes.
And the Chargers get the edge against Buffalo because Buffalo is the worst team I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, the Chargers. How are they only at 10 points projected?
Yeah, I don't know. Buffalo is so bad, and the Chargers secondary is decent, so it's like,
wow.
No,
Come on,
Buffalo's
guys.
trash.
Come on, guys. Chargers. This projection needs to be like close to 20.
I give the edge to Chalupa.
Me too.
And I think it's going to be a decently close game. I think
It's gonna be
10 to
super
15.
close.
Yeah,
Both teams are going to be 1-1. I think at the end of this,
yeah, I'll agree with that.
it's going to be
Which
a
helps
super
us
game.
because Breaker Chains right now is sitting in first, right, in our
Yep.
division.
Yep.
Cool. No, I'm sorry. Breaker Chains is sitting in first in the Marvin division.
The Marvin division. Let me go back to the front there if I can figure it out. Okay. Yeah, we got Breaker Chains at the top of the Marvin.
So, I mean, if Stumptavius can win, that puts him in first place in that division.
Yeah. Yep. It would put him in first place with not.
And I want everybody to remember, if you win your division, you get a bye week in the playoffs.
Very important. That bye week can save you.
Yes.
That can save you.
You don't have to get lucky one week. You can wait. The
Yeah.
more games you play, the more chances you have to lose. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, do you
even if
have
you win, you don't get your name changed.
any hot takes for this week, Dylan? Any hot
For
takes?
this week, my hot take is, there will be more 1-1 teams than ever before.
Are you talking about fantasy football or NFL?
Fantasy.
Fantasy. I think it's gonna be a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't.
one on
I see
ones.
maybe like 2-0 teams.
My my hot take for this week is gonna be Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home win against the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles. When
Okay.
the Eagles are hurt, I know that they're a better team overall. I just think they're hurt, and they're just not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Okay, so I like that. The NFL hot take I have. I was gonna go homer pick and say like Minnesota was gonna blow out Green Bay because the line right now in Vegas is it's a pick 'em,
Really?
which is insane to me. That I think Minnesota's at least a 2-point favorite, 2.5, 3-point favorite. But okay, hot take: Cleveland wins in New Orleans.
Oh, I hate that hot take. That's so bad.
It
That's
is
so bad.
fucking hot, boy.
That's so bad.
I got faith in Cleveland.
Oh my god. Where's the fire extinguisher?
Hey, I'm a guest. I don't have to hear everybody kill me when I'm talking next week, so that's my piping hot take. Cleveland wins in New Orleans.
Hey, anybody who stuck around for the 2 hours, you deserve a participation medal.
Yeah, and you got rewarded with that take.
Wow. God, that went long. I had a really fun time, though, Dylan. I hope everybody
Yes.
else listens to this and had a good
Yes,
time, too.
me too. I know Robert will. And by the way, Robert, props to you for that video, man.
Yeah.
I hope you keep doing them. You're only gonna get better, and I loved it. I laughed.
I loved
the-
it.
the
It was really
entire
funny.
time. I was laughing hysterically.
Alrighty. Well, let's call it off here. Yeah, you have a wonderful night, Dylan, and I hope everybody else has a chance to listen to this before the games tomorrow.
Yes.
And,
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I hope to be on sometime.
Yep. Well, I'm sure we'll have you again sometime.
Cool.
Catch you guys next week. Have a good one.